presentation on King Tutankhamen. In 1922, Howard Carter, with a group of other men, went to Egypt in search of ancient Egyptian kings' tombs. Here's a picture of Howard Carter. That guy right there, he's standing in front of the first golden shining King Tut's tomb when they found it.
That's the entrance to the tomb?
Yeah. So, when they found his tomb, they immediately realized that his was one of the only tombs, that his was the only tomb that had not been robbed by the grave diggers. But there was still one thing that they were unsure of. Had his mummy been stolen, or was it still remaining? They went to his coffin and opened it and were very happy to find that his tomb still contained his body. Here's a picture of King Tut's mummy. Right there. That's the scientist, the archaeologist who actually wrote the book, leaning over his mummy. That's his mummy.
Oh, that really came down.
Yeah.
Was it padded like that when they found it?
I think so.
Is that how they did it? They padded it?
Yeah,
No.
remember they had
Right.
It wasn't.
It wasn't packed like
That-
that?
The archaeologist that discovered it.
disgusting.
Right that way, okay.
Cool.
Disgusting and cool at the same time.
Yes.
Ew. Okay.
Many of you might be wondering why I am presenting on him if I am not talking about what he did in his reign. This reason is because he went to the throne at the age of 9 and died around the age 18 or 19. We know not very much about his life, but what we do know is that he helped us find out more about ancient Egypt and their great, powerful kings and how the kings ruled over Egypt. The founding of his tomb helped us learn more about ancient Egypt and what ancient Egyptian kings did back then. There are many possessions that they were found, such as many pieces of furniture, games, and articles that might have been found in the household or the palace of King Tut. He helped us learn much more about ancient Egypt, and that is why he is famous. He's also his tomb was found in Middle Egypt, in a place called the Valley of Kings. Here's a picture of the Valley of Kings in ancient Egypt. Right there. Right there is the Valley of Kings, and that's the Valley of Queens. That's where all of the kings and queens of ancient Egypt were placed when they died. Right there. An interesting fact about the King Tut's tomb was it was the smallest of all the ancient Egyptian king tombs in the Valley of Kings.
Wow.
There. In the Valley of Kings. His tomb helped us learn much more about ancient Egypt's wonderful talents and gifts as great craftsmen. Also we found that one of their tombs was very well known for the beautiful artistic givings that they put into the tomb. All of the tombs that were built were covered with pure white stone, and at the very top were placed with gold. Also, another interesting fact about them is the way that they set their coffins. Here's a picture of an Egyptian coffin. The many layers of which the coffin consists of was so that the mummies were safe and so that they could go into the afterworld. They built the tombs for these people so that it could be filled with their possessions, so they could take these possessions to the afterworld, as it was believed that you needed to get your own supplies to bring in the afterworld to live. That's the big,
Oh yeah, first one.
yeah, many layers. If anyone had been alive in a tomb, it would have been very hot.
Really hot.
I hope you enjoyed learning all this interesting facts about the finding of King Tutankhamen's tomb. I certainly did have fun learning all of this interesting stuff about him. Any questions or comments? Miss Annie?
I like all the information you gave, and the pictures are really nice.
Thanks. Yes?
You know, there is a lot of information on King Tut, and I like the way you boiled it down, because I think it would almost be overwhelming because there's so much out there.
I
And you did
actually
a
had a really
good job.
hard time with this presentation. It was my toughest one.
Because there's so much, right? You did a good job.
You did a great job.
Sometimes it's harder to keep it short, isn't it?
Yep.
Oh, good job.
Yes?
I like all the pictures you used.
Thanks. These are actually library books.
Fabulous. Great
So I
choices.
brought them for you.
Really good choices.
We have a book at home about like how King Tut was found and stuff, and how he found Howard Carter got his helper to find him and stuff. And then at the end, the last sentence, it says like they've never found the tomb of King Tut's father, which
Amenhotep.
yeah.
Actually, King Tutankhamen's tomb, this is an interesting fact. His tomb was the greatest find in the entire world, actually. It's one of the, basically the greatest find
archaeological.
in the whole world because it had all of its containments in it. It had
And to
all its
think that that was the
contents.
smallest tomb.
Yeah.
That's,
Imagine.
Of a
me-
boy.
I,
Of a boy.
Oh,
we believe that
gosh.
the fact that it escaped the gravediggers was either they found it and they weren't interested in it because it was so small, they're like, there's probably nothing in it, or they just never discovered it because it was so
Amazing.
small.
But it wasn't a pyramid either. It was down under, right?
Yeah.
Because the pyramids had been robbed so much.
So much.
They started moving out a little bit. And
Like, yeah,
Yeah,
after a few
neat.
years, many of the ancient, the gravediggers actually would steal the gold and white stones and things to build other monuments from the pyramids, so they would end up just plain regular stone.
Very good, Charlotte.
I've got another comment. I like two things. I like the way that you would take a minute and get your thoughts together and then go on again. I think sometimes when we're doing a presentation, we feel like we need to keep talking all the time.
That's
And
true.
it's okay to stop for a second and
Okay
get your
to
thoughts together
regather.
and then move on.